Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Noodles at Noon, the show that focuses on things that are not worth focusing on. I am your host, Ben, who is so happy to be here on this lovely Monday morning, because that's when we're recording this, a lovely Monday morning. I'm joined, as always, by my wonderfully good friend, Noah.
Hello, it's great to be here. I'm in a good mood. It's a good day. It's a good Monday morning. I'm ready to talk about all the things.
Ready to talk about all the things. And our special guest this week, he's known me for just about as long as you can know somebody, and he's almost listened to one of our podcasts. It's Andrew.
Hi.
That's a stellar introduction, Andrew.
That's what
Andrew
you told me to say.
That's fair. Andrew, how do we know you?
Well, I've known Noah for a couple of years now. He's pretty
that's
cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I've also known you for a few more years.
Quite a few more years.
Yeah.
Like 22-ish of them.
Yeah.
I have to say, you guys look really, really similar.
We've gotten that many times that we look similar. I don't know why that is.
I can't quite put my finger on it, like cousins or something.
Yeah.
We could be cousins, that might be although we're not. That might be it. This is Andrew. He's my brother.
I'm his older
brother. You can say
brother.
hi again, Andrew. Okay, yes, my older brother. Do you have any other things you want to clarify?
I mean, typically, Ben has a, good radio face and voice, and I have a good TV face and voice.
All right.
What defines a TV face from is that like a TV show face versus a movie face, or is it just like general?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I probably couldn't make it in the movies, but I like to think I could make it on TV.
Daytime TV. Let's not get carried away here.
Yeah, Hallmark.
You'd be a great Hallmark movie character, not going to lie.
Thank you.
What role would you play on a Hallmark movie, Andrew?
He's the
platonic friend of one of the love interests.
I was going to say he's the bad guy character, the super attractive bad guy character with the big job in the city.
Who just doesn't understand the true meaning of Christmas.
He's the one that comes in, he's like, that sign, take it down. It's got to say Happy Holidays, nothing else.
This is not what we're about.
I own a Christmas tree conglomerate, and I'm trying to absorb all the local Christmas tree farms.
And then outsource it to like Canada or something.
Yeah, I'm Canadian.
Oh, he's Canadian. Oh, it's an inside
Canadian
job.
Villain.
That's the whole twist of the movie. He was Canadian the whole time.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's my brother. So thank you, Andrew, so much for being on our show this week. We are very, very happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here, guys. Good to see you.
Yeah. What about this past week? Does anything happen in this past week, Andrew or Noah? If you want to get started, either of you, that you feel like sharing with our general populace.
Well, I can start us off and give Andrew some time to think up a story. I wanted to follow up last week we were talking about contests, and that was our Speak Pipe question. We have an answer from a listener that we'll share a little bit later. But we were talking about contests and any contests we may have won in the past. And I was really excited because I just won a cooler in a contest, like a really nice, fancy cooler. But I won another contest since that episode has aired, which I was really excited about. And I entered it kind of on a whim. But the place I went skydiving a couple years ago, they had a Google business review thing where if you leave a review on their Google page, you could be entered to win a contest or entered to win a free skydive. So I spent a lot of time. I sat down one night and I told Jesse, like, hey, I'm just going to sit here for like the next hour and I'm going to compose the story of my skydiving trip. And I wrote this long review about like every part of the process and how awesome it was. And I ended up winning best story in that contest. So next summer I get to go on a free skydive at this place, which is super awesome. It's like one of the best things I've ever gotten to do, like just a crazy awesome experience. So I'm really excited for that. I get to go jump out of an airplane again.
And Michael's going to join you on this adventure, is he not?
That's what he said. He said if he's still around town and has the money. I don't know if he knows it's not very cheap. But yeah, we'll try and get Michael on this plane too and get him to jump out with me. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, because I'm not going. I'm nervous enough getting inside of planes. Jumping out of them while they're still in the air might not be the best thing for me to do.
Well, hey, a lot of people have a fear of landing in a plane. Like the whole landing process, it's kind of scary. You don't even have to do that when you skydive. You don't land in the plane.
See, the landing part's not the part I'm worried about. The landing part's my favorite part because that's when it gets all loud and it's like, it's really cool. But I think I'll take my chances not jumping out of a plane. Yeah, well, congratulations on winning your second contest. I think you should go buy some lottery tickets, do some other things, continue writing because apparently your calling in life is writing for reviews for skydiving because apparently you're very good at it.
I actually have tried entering other contests this week just as I've seen them, like fill out this survey and you get a gift card, or I entered this Jimmy John's thing and I haven't won anything yet, but I'm feeling good now. Like, hey, if I won a couple, like maybe they're not impossible to win. So we'll see.
It's like the claw machine, except your wife and I, Jesse and I, we won the claw machine on back-to-back tries that one time. Remember that?
That is true, and we still have that ball. That was crazy.
I still have it too. Andrew, how about you? Anything from the past week? I see you have a lovely whale behind you.
It's a painting of a whale. This week, I instruct elementary schoolers. I'm a third grade teacher. I don't know why I worded it like that, but
it's because you're on a podcast. You start wording things weird when you're on a podcast.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
And you also start talking all low and like this.
Yeah.
Like, why are you talking like that? I have a podcast.
I'm gravelly.
And you word things weird.
No, I'm a third grade teacher, and we had a fundraiser this week. Typically, we do what's called a fun run, and family and friends of the students pledge money per lap that students run. Obviously, we can't do that this year given the pandemic, so we did a dance fit. So family and friends pledged money for every minute that students danced, and it was all virtual. So I had to host a virtual dance party for my entire class, and for about 45 minutes of nonstop dancing to earn money for our school.
That's amazing. That's like the background for a Hallmark movie plot. Like, we have to dance for 45 minutes to save the school.
Save the school.
Hey, we danced, man. It was fun.
Where can I online see this video? Speaking of talking weird on a podcast.
There was a lot of we coordinate with a company that helps schools plan and implement these fundraisers, and there was a shocking amount of online security in terms of how they hosted it and whatnot. I was given a pre-recorded video to show for the dance-a-thon that was like encrypted and password blocked, so that nobody could get in and partake in the dance party unannounced. It was on top of all our district protocols too. It was pretty strict, but it was a lot of fun.
So what you're saying is, Noah, you're going to have to hack and try and reset their password to be able to get in, because that's what you do with things apparently.
I've done some sketchy hacking on Instagram that we're trying to forget about now.
Yeah, we're going to pretend that didn't happen. Anyway, well, that's fantastic. A dance party to save the school or earn money for the school.
Andrew,
Yep,
can
my
I ask?
class is $500.
Nice.
Can I ask Andrew what songs did you dance to?
We kicked things off with Old Town Road. A very carefully selected portion of Old Town Road, I should say.
So just the first part? just the first 15 seconds of Old Town Road.
And I think they use the edited version of all these songs, but there's some Katy Perry, some classics, YMCA, Cupid Shuffle, stuff like that. It's a good time. But they also would throughout, in between the dance numbers, they do yoga with the kids. Since it was a dance fit, it wasn't, you can't just dance, you have to do some physical education components. So there were some yoga poses, some squats. My thighs were burning. I'm still sore this morning. That was crazy.
That does sound crazy. That sounds like a lot of fun, though.
It was marginally
a
fun.
Wonderful, marginally fun. That's right.
I did have a student as soon as it was over. Might have to delete this. Anyway, as soon as it was over, this one student hangs out. All the other students leave, and he's just looking at the camera. And I'm like, "Hey, man, what's up?" That was really boring. Kind of a letdown. And I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. Have a good weekend."
That's just this year for you. I don't know what to tell you.
Kind of a letdown. He didn't dance hard enough. He should have danced harder. Wouldn't have been boring if he danced harder. Well, congratulations on earning money for your classroom. The money that your classroom earned.
Thank you.
That's awesome. A good adaptation of the fun run, but for 2020's version of the socially distant fun run. My past week, it was pretty good. The only thing I could think of that was out of the ordinary, really, was a few weeks ago, I talked about seeing the sketchiest ice cream truck that I've ever seen. It was a ice cream truck that had been built out of a converted Suzuki Vitara that drove up to a park I was at in Greeley and just started serving ice cream to the kids. It was one of the weirder things I've ever seen. But this past week, I inadvertently visited the sketchiest Christmas light park. All these sketchy things happen in parks. And it wasn't really the park's fault for being sketchy. I was there with Amelia, who happened to be the other person who was with me when I saw the sketchy ice cream truck. She has since told me I can use her name. So she's listened to one episode of that podcast, and it happened to be that one with the sketchy ice cream truck thing. And she was the person in the story, so she was listening to it, and she was like, "Wait a minute, he's talking about me." And I think in that podcast, I addressed her as the other person. And so I just, but her name's Amelia. Anyway, the city that we're in does this thing every year called the Winter Wonder Lights. And it's a really awesome Christmas light setup. You can walk through and there's music and all the lights are synced to music. And it starts next week, I think, on the 15th. But we were walking around and we saw where they set it up and we saw Christmas lights. So like, oh, maybe they have it up early. They just don't have any of the events going on. So we go start walking through the Christmas light park. And what we didn't realize is there's like about a third set up. So the park that we saw is the third that's been set up. But then we had to walk through the rest of it at night. So it was super dark. And we were the only people there. We thought some polar bears were people, but they were polar bears. And then fake polar bears. They weren't real polar bears. We don't have a polar bear problem where we are. But
nowhere has a polar bear
park
problem anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
polar bears have a serious polar bear problem, but it's not related to location.
Population.
Or population. But the park where this Winter Wonderlights thing is always located is a sculpture park. And the sculptures that they have are very interesting and also kind of creepy. if viewed in the nighttime, which they were. So for a good amount of us just walking around this park, it was pitch black with giant creepy statues staring down at us or peeking out at us from behind trees. So all I will have to say with this story is I highly recommend going when it opens and not beforehand, because there was nobody there and it was nighttime and it was pretty creepy. So that's I felt really bad though, because it was my idea, and I was like, wow, this is kind of scary. And I feel bad for making us walk through here. But it worked out. We had a good time. It was fun. So yeah, those are our past weeks. And I think we're going to kick it over to Noah, who has something you guys shared for us from the past week.
Well, that is correct. We've been doing Speak Pipe the last few weeks, so you can share with us your thoughts. We asked you a question. So last week we asked you the question, I forgot. Last week we asked you the question if you've ever won any contests or you have any stories about contests, and we did get a submission from Callie, so I'm going to go ahead and play that for us now.
Hi friends, just your friendly neighborhood listener here. So normally I have really bad luck with raffle contests and never win. And there was this event each year at my college that always had a ton of raffle prizes. And each year I would strategically pick out a prize set that I thought was cool, but not too cool that everyone else would want it. And I would put all my tickets in. And during my freshman year, my college roommate won that prize set, which was board games like Sorry and movies and popcorn. And so I did benefit from all that, but I technically didn't personally win it. However, my senior year, I saw the holy grail of all prizes, a waffle maker of all the necessary materials to make waffles, like waffle mix, maple syrup, a mixing bowl, and all that. And so again, I put in all my tickets, but this time I won that waffle maker. It's the only time I have won a raffle contest, and it could be that there was like no one there that year, so there was significantly less competition, but it doesn't matter. I won that waffle maker, and every time I make waffles now, I basically celebrate that win all over again. So thanks for this podcast and the opportunity to re-celebrate my waffle win. I do love your banter in each show, but I also love the games and appreciate the research and hard work you put into them. You rock, friends. Keep up the good work.
Aw, thank you, Callie. And I'm very proud of you and your victory of the waffle iron.
It was fun watching Ben and Andrew's reaction to this, because they were like getting closer and closer to the camera, like waiting for the gripping conclusion of the story. And then when she says she won the waffle maker, everybody's just like arms in the air, like she did it.
She won the waffle maker. Oh man, if I had been there, I would have put all my tickets in the waffle maker too. I'm a big fan of waffles and waffle makers. That's my favorite part of staying in hotels.
I made pancakes this morning.
Oh.
Just out of the blue. I woke up and Jesse didn't even want any. They were just for myself.
Wait. Jesse didn't want any, or they were just for yourself? I don't think. Like, did you make some for Jesse that you then had to eat? Or
I made some for her, but she had already told me that she was going to eat eggs.
Oh, okay. The other day I went over to our neighbor's house, and one of their daughters, this was like 2 p.m, by the way, and she came out, she was like, "Hey Ben, you want a waffle?" And I was like, "Sure." She's like, "Good, I made too many." And she went inside and she came back with a homemade waffle. And I was like, "Sweet."
That gives me hope for America.
Yep. Our neighbors. Love your neighbor as yourself and give them waffles. Well, thank you so much, Callie, for sending that to us. We're super happy for you and your victory of the waffle maker. And that you get to celebrate that every time you make waffles. Noah gets to celebrate his win every time he uses his cooler. But
you should have her on as a guest. She was very well spoken, and she actually listens to the show. So she seems like she's more qualified than at least me.
I mean, in all fairness, I don't really listen to the show. But fair. Maybe we should have her on the show. We'll have to reach out and talk to her about that.
She sounds very nice. She sounds very pleasant.
She is. Well, anyway, Noah, do we have a question or anything that people can put in for the speak pipe this week?
We do. It is, should we have Andrew back on the show?
Please submit your video essays for whether or not we should have Andrew back on the show. If we get enough, we will have him back. If we don't, you'll never hear from him again.
He will no longer be part of the Noodles canon, and Ben will be an only child.
We're going to retcon this entire episode, and it will never happen.
I mean, well, I did ask that question as a joke, but I'd also be curious to hear what people have to say.
We'll roll with it. See what people think of Andrew.
All right.
This is getting a little... I don't know if I want to welcome this type of criticism into my life. But thank you.
All of our listeners are very nice, Andrew.
But Andrew, you're only going to hear this criticism on the show, which you've already said you don't listen to. So you'll never know.
It's kind of a zero-sum game for you, Andrew.
Listen, guys, it's nothing personal. My commute is only 15 minutes. I can't really listen to anything while I work.
Well, this was funny.
Guys.
I was on the phone with you earlier, and tell Noah and the people what you told me about listening to our show.
Yesterday, I had the rare opportunity. I had a span of an hour where I could listen to a podcast while I worked, and I almost listened to your podcast.
And then you did what, Andrew?
I listened to a different podcast.
That's fair. That's more than fair.
Yeah.
I understand the short commute, though. My drive to work in the morning is 5 minutes. But my drive on the way home on that same exact path is like half an hour. Just because of traffic. Yeah. It takes me...
Oh, my word.
It takes me about 3 miles away that I live. And it's like 5 minutes to get there and 30 minutes to drive home.
That's why I like... because I have to be at work pretty early by normal like work time standards. But it also means I get off work earlier. So there's never any like rush hour traffic when I get off. That's one of the many things I love about my job, is that when I get off work, I don't have to sit in traffic for a long time.
That is.
I would like to
nice.
clarify that I'm not complaining about a 15-minute commute.
we can make it longer.
45-minute. I've had to do the... I'll put it this way. I used to be an avid podcast consumer because my commute was 45 minutes. And oh my word, what is it? Elon Musk, doesn't he say traffic is soul crushing, and that's why he started Tesla or something? So yeah, it's brutal. I
found for the drive home, because it is getting longer, and especially like this time of year, I don't know why, it always gets worse. But I found that it's just enough time for me to call people, because my phone has my car has like a built-in Bluetooth thing. So I've started calling people on my drive home just to check in with them and say hello. And that's been really fun. So if you have the time and you can safely call people in your car, call people.
Like a different person every day?
Yeah, I've been trying to. Or just people I haven't talked to in a while.
That's really cool.
That is cool. Makes me wonder why I've never gotten a call from you, but that's pretty cool.
That's because I talk to you all day throughout my work day.
That's true. We do message each other a lot.
My boss listens to this show. I should not. I don't. I never talk to Ben.
Yeah. Never. Not once. Anyway. So, Andrew, as you may know, as you've listened to parts of our podcast, we like playing games, and that's how we pass the time. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to play some of those games. We're going to start off with a game we haven't played in a while called What's the Deal? It's where I have news stories from the past week or a little bit of the week with a certain specific, unique topic. And I will ask you what the deal is with those topics. And if you're able to give me the correct news story for which they are from, then you'll get a point. If neither of you give me the correct news story, I will usually go with the one I think is most creative or just the most fun. And that will be the one that gets the point. So if you don't think you have the answer, go for creative and fun. And that's the game, What's the Deal? And I kind of tailored this first question for you, Andrew, because I know this is something that you are a big fan of. But the first question is, what's the deal with exotic lizards? There is a news story from the past week having to deal with exotic lizards. So, Andrew, what is the deal?
Can Noah go first so he can model the process
Yeah.
for me?
Noah,
sorry.
what's the deal with exotic lizards?
All right. They have found a lizard in the exotic land of Djibouti. That's a callback to a video Andrew was in a very long time ago.
Djiboutian Idol, I think is...
They have found a lizard in Djibouti that looks exactly like the Geico gecko. Exactly. And not to poke holes in your story, Noah, but doesn't a gecko look just like the Geico gecko? No. That would be crazy. But what's special about these lizards is they're bipedal, just like the Geico gecko.
Oh, okay,
They
that makes
just
sense.
saunter down on their legs, just like the Geico gecko. Australian accent in Djibouti for some reason. Migrated. Does that help, Andrew?
Yeah.
It does.
That models the story. So you're saying the deal with exotic lizard is that they found a Geico gecko lizard in Djibouti with an Australian accent who's bipedal.
Yes.
Andrew, what's the deal with exotic lizards?
This isn't a response to the question, but Noah's comment made me think about it. Do you guys watch The Mandalorian?
Yes.
Oh, you guys cut out.
Oh.
Anyway,
Yes.
I don't.
Spoilers. The character on the most recent episode, there's like a bipedal gecko thing, and it totally reminded me of the Geico gecko. Anyway, that's all I'll say. I don't know. Anyway, what's the deal with
I just watched that
exotic
episode
lizards?
this morning.
Isn't it? I thought it was really good. My wife struggled to like it, but I thought it was fantastic.
I am deathly afraid of spiders, so that was hard. But I liked it. I liked the idea. It was a good episode.
I thought it was fun. My wife too is terrified of spiders, so she was cringing and like wincing the whole time. But I thought the scenes with the X-wings were really well done. I thought that may have been one of my favorite episodes so far. Anyway, what's the deal with exotic lizards? Well, there was recently an outbreak of salmonella in multiple different cases where people keep bearded dragons, one of the most common pet lizards here in the States. There was recently a salmonella outbreak, so that could be part of the deal with lizards, with exotic lizards.
You have a bearded dragon, don't you, Andrew?
I do, yes.
Tell us about your bearded dragon. What's he like?
I have a bearded dragon. His name is Steve. That's because bearded dragons are native to Australia. There's multiple different subspecies, but they're all native to Australia. And one of my heroes growing up was Steve Irwin, so we named him Steve. I wish that Steve had such a demeanor as Steve Irwin did, but he's kind of a jerk, the bearded dragon, not my childhood hero. He's very, very food motivated. And for the longest time, I couldn't go into his enclosure without getting bit or scratched or something. But we've been working on it. I've been able to spend more time at home lately, so I've been very intentional about building a better relationship. How to train your dragon, if you will. And we're doing much better. Steve is doing great. I'm able to hold him now, pet him. He's a new lizard. He's doing awesome.
I'm glad that this time we're able to be at home has really brought your family closer together, Andrew.
Thank you.
Jesse and I have talked about getting a bearded dragon before. That's like top of her list of, well, besides a dog. If we can't get a dog or a cat, like bearded dragon is top of her list of what she wants. So we'll have to call you if we ever need parenting advice for a bearded dragon.
You should call me. We should talk sometime. I don't know if your listeners get really into reptiles and herpetology and the keeping of exotic animals. But we should talk sometime. There's bearded dragons are great, but there's several other lizards. Like if you just want a lizard, I bet you can find one that is even greater and meets your expectations more so than a bearded dragon. They're popular and they're cheap. But there's some really cool pet lizards out there.
When I first asked this question, I did say I tailored this one more for you, Andrew.
Yeah, thank you. I can tell.
Yeah.
I like lizards. I'm pro lizard.
All right. So Andrew said salmonella outbreak. Noah said bipedal Djiboutian Australian accent lizard was recently discovered. The deal with exotic lizard is that an exotic lizard was recently rescued after spending 3 days on a power line in Pennsylvania. The Humane Society there used wooden tools to coax it off the line and back to safety. People thought they had saved the lizard, but he was actually just waiting for Pennsylvania's election results to come in. Just by chilling out there on a power line.
What type of lizard was it?
I can't remember. I didn't put that down in my notes. I should have. Hi, Audrey. Do you want me to... Sorry, my brother's wife just walked into the room he is in. Do you want me to look it up right now? I can look it up right now if you would like me to.
Sure.
As for who gets the points,
Noah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to give it to Noah for, a wonderful answer in many ways. Creative with the city, the country that he was located in.
Country.
I'm trying to type and talk at the same time. Well,
Djibouti is the sister city of Pennsylvania.
Is it?
None of those things are cities, but
well, I was going to say that
amazing.
The capital of Djibouti is Djibouti. The capital city of Djibouti is called Djibouti.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't find the type of lizard it was, Andrew. I'm sorry.
It's okay, I guess. No, I hope I didn't scare you away from bearded dragons with the salmonella thing. Statistically speaking, you're more likely to get it from the chicken that you eat than from your pet bearded dragon.
Well, great. Now I'm not eating chicken.
Now I'm not eating bearded dragons.
Now
we weren't going to eat it. We were going to keep it as a pet. Man.
Okay.
No, but you should check out this YouTube channel. It's called Clint's Reptiles. Greatest YouTube channel ever.
Not a sponsor.
Fantastic.
Clint, I have actually watched.
He reviews pet reptiles.
I have seen
It's
this.
fantastic.
It is great. Moving on to question 2. Congratulations, Noah. You get the first point. What's the deal with Baby Nancy, Jenga, and Sidewalk Chalk? That's Baby Nancy, Jenga, and Sidewalk Chalk. And we're going to start with Andrew this time because we started with Noah last time.
Thank you. I think I understand the game now. So, Baby Nancy was not actually a baby. That was her nickname that she got during the Great War.
Oh.
She lives in a retirement community. And naturally, they're on lockdown right now because of the increased risk for the elderly given the pandemic. So, Nancy, being the winsome lady that she is, decided that she needed to not just brighten the day for the people inside her retirement community, but for the children that she saw walking to school past her community on the sidewalk outside. So she needed to brighten everyone's days. So she began, she paid off the night watchman who walked the halls of the community at night, and she would sneak out at night with some sidewalk chalk, and she left motivational messages on the sidewalks outside of her retirement community, both for the people inside her community, but also those children who walk to school. Many of the children are so thankful for it. Some said they were about to quit school and drop out, but now, because of these sidewalk messages, they have the strength, will, and tenacity to carry on.
Wow. Way to go, Baby Nancy. That's truly inspiring. I don't even know how to summarize that.
I would just like to forego my turn and just give Andrew the point because that was so hopeful.
It was. Maybe that's the plot of his second Hallmark movie.
But then the rich man comes to town to shut down the nursing home.
The nursing home, yeah. It's being absorbed into
retirement community. Retirement community.
It's being absorbed into a Canadian retirement community. Noah, what's the deal with what is it? Baby Nancy, Jenga, and sidewalk chalk?
Oh, I left out Jenga.
Yeah, I wasn't saying anything.
Have you guys ever seen those 3D sidewalk art, chalk art things where if you stand in just the right place, it looks like the art is like coming off the ground, or it does different things with perspective with the chalk?
Yeah.
That's what I think this is about. I think Baby Nancy is an artist, and she did this Jenga sidewalk chalk art where it looks like a bunch of Jenga blocks stacked up on the sidewalk, maybe leaning over. They're kind of tilting over a little bit. And if you stand in just the right spot, you see sidewalk chalk that looks like a Jenga tower right in front of you, but it's all just on the ground.
Clever. 3D. Is that the picture that you just sent us in our Discord chat, Noah?
Yes, it is a guy who looks like he's hosing down the street, but it's all just sidewalk chalk.
That's
including the guy?
No.
I don't think the guy is. I'm not actually sure where it starts, and I think the guy's real, but I think everything else is fake.
Yeah,
even the cars in the background. The cars in the background are totally fake.
Including the people walking on the sidewalk too. They're fake too. It's funny. I got really confused when you sent that because I didn't realize at first that it was sidewalk chalk art, and you, for whatever reason, titled it as bipedal Djiboutian lizards. So
that was an earlier note I took for myself.
But I was looking at the the picture. I was like, what about this is bipedal Djiboutian lizards? Anyway.
That was an accident.
So we have sidewalk chalk art and a lovely lady who lives in a retirement home who just is doing something great for children. Well, Baby Nancy, Jenga, and sidewalk chalk are all toys. Baby Nancy is a doll, and all three toys, Baby Nancy, Jenga, and sidewalk chalk, were inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame recently for the year 2020. So those are the 2020 inductions into the Toy Hall of Fame. As for who gets the point, I think I'm going to give it to Andrew for his beautiful narrative that he laid out for us of hope and do-goodedness. So thank you for that, Andrew. Also, that means we're tied going into the last round.
I left out Jenga.
You did leave out Jenga, but I was willing to look past that for the message that you gave us. So going into the last round, the question is going to be, what's the deal with table tennis? And we're going to start with Noah because we started with him the first round. So what's the deal with table tennis?
All right, two guys set a record for the longest volley in table tennis at 34 hours back and forth.
Goodness gracious.
Very specific, probably very wrong, but that's my guess.
You know what? That's a good guess. Andrew, what do you have to say in response to the 34-hour-long table tennis volley?
In response to Noah's, or what is my own?
Or what's your own answer? Sorry, I phrased that poorly.
What's the deal with table tennis?
Yeah, I have a podcast. I phrase things weird.
Oh,
weirdly do I phrase things.
Weirdly do I phrase things.
Someone set a new record at table tennis.
Doing what?
Table tennis.
A new table tennis record for table tennising. Just any. Okay, perfect. Well, what's the deal with table tennis? A martial artist, a Guinness World Record by hitting 34 table tennis balls in 1 minute with nunchucks.
34. Isn't that the number of hours you said, Noah?
That is the number of hours he said.
Did I
He
say
said
34?
it was a new record for 34 hours of table tennis rallying.
Volley.
But this was 34 hits with table tennis balls with nunchucks.
In under a minute.
In under a minute. In 1 minute exactly.
Wow.
See, this is tough because, Andrew, you just said very broadly some guy set a table tennis world record. And when I asked for what, you just said table tennis. So
I'd
I
like
don't.
to argue that mine was also someone set a record in table tennis, but it was more specific.
That's true. So I'm going to give it to Noah because the number 34 was involved. He set a world record, and Andrew, you were just too broad. I'm sorry, I can't give you the point for broadness.
It's A-okay. I think Noah should win it.
Okay, perfect. Then it goes to Noah. So the winner of What's the Deal is Noah. Score of 2-1. Congratulations, Noah. And as a prize, you get to host our next game. Sorry, Andrew, if you wanted to host the next game or if you brought a game to play, but Noah gets to host it.
I brought Candyland.
Ooh, I love that game.
You know what I love is Jenga. Like, Jenga is one of my favorite games. I'm really weird about when people come over, I just want to play Jenga. Like,
That's
I get
interesting.
super into it. And I'll take a good 5 minutes to just like plan out my move, and I'm a stickler for the rules. Like, one hand only. You pick a hand and you stick with it. You can't hold the tower while you're pulling a block out. One hand only. There's some serious rules.
Where do you
Wow,
fall
I
on giant Jenga as a yard game?
I just want to do it. I've never had an opportunity to play, so mostly
Really?
left out. That's how I feel.
Well, there
Well,
you
thank
go.
you for the segue, Ben. We're going to play another round of What's Happening Next Door. For those of you in our show that have not played this game before, we're going to take a look at nextdoor.com and just read some of the complaints and things that neighbors like to post. Neighbors post some weird things on there, or just some weird things happen in neighborhoods. So today we're going to look at 3 stories. And similar to the last game, I'm going to ask you to fill in the blank. So question number 1. This neighbor complained in a Nextdoor post about a song that was being blasted through the neighborhood. And they write in their post, does somebody's phone in the neighborhood have blank as its ringtone? Or is it an ice cream cart? Is anyone else hearing this song constantly? How do we make it stop? What was the song this neighbor was hearing, Ben?
I think this song, for it to be played as loudly as it has been played in this neighborhood, and apparently as repetitively as it's been played in this neighborhood, it's got to be a pretty popular song. So I'm going to go with, this is when Despacito was at its height. Somebody was just blaring Despacito, commanding Alexa to play Despacito over and over and over again at the top of its lungs. So yeah, I'm going to go with that, Noah.
That is a good guess. That's a good safe bet. Andrew, what do you think?
They thought it was an ice cream cart?
Yeah, so that you can use that as a clue. Like, they thought maybe an ice cream cart might be playing this song.
Right. Well, I'm trying to think of songs that would have like a bell type sound in it. I'm gonna say "Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time" by Paul McCartney.
Best Christmas song there is.
Oh, man. That is a song. All right, we have
Simply
having a wonderful Christmas
having
time.
a wonderful Christmas time.
Somebody needs to remix that song with Despacito. Just glob them together somehow. The correct answer is, does somebody's phone in the neighborhood have the Andy Griffith Show theme song as its ringtone? So this person was just hearing somewhere in the neighborhood over and over somebody blasting the sweet whistling tunes of the Andy Griffith Show theme song.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that so much.
It's just some older gentleman in his yard working on his yard, whistling that over and over and over and over again.
That's probably exactly what it is. It's just some guy whistling.
That's delightful.
I was kind of questioning too if maybe like his TV was playing Andy Griffith or something and it just sounded like it was coming from outside, or
Right.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of explanations for that.
Yeah.
Now I want
nobody
to
knows
watch
the
the
real
Andy
one.
Griffith Show.
Such a good show. So wholesome.
So wholesome.
That is a good one.
Dick Van Dyke.
I think I'm.
What a guy.
I think I'm.
No,
it wasn't on Andy Griffith.
that was the Dick Van
he's not
Dyke show.
involved in that at all.
It was Andy Griffith. Was Andy on that show?
And Dick Van Dyke was on the Dick Van Dyke show.
Pretty close. Both great shows.
Yeah.
Both great black and white sitcoms. I'm going to give the point to Andrew just because I feel like his song choice was a little more wholesome.
Fair.
A little more on brand. I don't know. All right. Question 2. This neighbor was looking to make a simple trade. He wanted a decent condition adult bicycle for his recently captured blank. What did this neighbor capture and intend to trade for a bicycle, Andrew?
So wait, he wants a bicycle and he's going to trade whatever it was he captured?
Yes. So he captured something. He really wants a decent adult bicycle. He's like, hey, I will trade you this thing for your adult bicycle.
He recently captured. That's terrifying. And an adult bicycle, like, is that like a 24-inch, 26-inch, 29er? I would say, oh, geez. Recently captured. I'm going to say a fish. Like maybe it's just a really interesting way of saying he caught you a fish. And he's got a nice trout for you if you can give him a bicycle.
All right.
You know what
trout for a
they
bicycle.
say? If you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for life, and if you give a man a fish, he'll give you a bite. That's how it works.
Trade it away for a bicycle. Ben, what do you think?
I think this guy captured a horned toad. That's a thing. Or a horned lizard. I'm trying to remember. Andrew, you and I had these back in the day that kid Logan caught. Do you remember that?
Yes, it's funny you mentioned that. That lizard was actually on today's episode of Clint's Reptiles.
No way. What is it called? Because that's
I'm
my
not
answer.
joking. A horned lizard. There's several different subspecies which have different names. But yeah.
Perfect. I'm going with that. Horned lizard. He'll trade you a horned lizard that he recently captured for a bike.
All right. Horned lizard or a fish? You guys are both not too far off. The answer is
what's in the middle of a horned lizard and a fish?
A swarm of bees.
Oh.
Is in the middle. He writes, bees swarmed, and I captured them. Interested in trading the swarm for a decent condition adult bicycle. Let me know if you're interested. These bees aren't going to stay long.
Wow.
So,
Is a swarm synonymous with a hive? Like because I could see someone offering like, hey, I have this hive that I'd like to relocate. Or is it just literally he...
I'm picturing like he took a big plastic tub and there were like 3 bees on his picnic table and he just like catches them under a box. It's like, come quick, come get these bees. It's a swarm of bees. You only need hilarious. 2, I'm pretty sure. You only need 2 bees. Just kidding. I know that. Well, I mean, you know. But I thought that was particularly interesting after a Nextdoor question we had a few weeks ago when we had Daniel on the show, where the bees, a neighbor was angry for his beekeeper neighbor's bees stealing all of the pollen out of his flowers, and the neighbor was really upset. So maybe it's the same bees. Maybe it's the swarm of bees, and he's trying to sell them for a bike.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to Ben just to keep it interesting. That's what we do on this show. Question 2 always seems to usually go to
whoever didn't get the first point.
Doesn't have a point. Interesting. All right, so question number 3, the ultimate tiebreaker. This neighbor reported an incident at their local liquor store involving 2 kids trying to buy beer. How are these kids attempting to illegally procure alcohol? And I believe it is it, now I can't remember. Is it Andrew? No, it's Ben. It's Ben.
It is I, Ben. Andrew and I made the exact same face when you said this because I think we are thinking the exact same thing. I think one child was on another child's shoulders, and they had a giant coat that they were wearing, covering the place where you could tell that there was just one child sitting on another child's shoulders. Very cartoon esque, where it's just a bunch of squirrels in a suit. This is just a bunch of kids in a big trench coat trying to buy alcohol. Classic story.
Princess Bride approach.
The what?
The Princess Bride approach.
Yes, the Princess Bride approach.
Oh yeah, that's true. All right. Well, that's a good answer, Ben. Andrew, what do you think?
Oh man, these two enterprising youngsters. I believe that I think Ben's on the right track, but I think that both of them walked in on stilts. To appear taller, and then obviously they're going to check ID if this is a store of any repute, right? So, not repute. If this is, I'm on a podcast. Anyway, if this store is worth their salt, right? They're gonna card them. So I think they also have some fake IDs, but I bet they just photocopy their mom and dad's, and it's on like the school printer paper. So they're not gonna get too far with that.
All right, we have two kids in a trench coat or kids on stilts with their parents' IDs. Let's see if this works. Can you guys hear that?
No.
Oh. I think, okay, I'm playing an alarm sound. That sound means one of you has the exact right answer. Ben. I lost it. Ben. This post says, 2 kids on each other's shoulders wearing a raincoat trying to buy beer. Was at the liquor store, and I saw it was obviously 2 kids on each other's shoulders while wearing a trench coat to appear taller and pass as an adult. They were trying to buy beer. I will say I have a really hard time believing this is really a true story. I just kind of doubt it, but regardless, Ben, you were exactly right.
I think what's interesting is they said that the 2 kids were on each other's shoulders, which means that the kid who's on bottom is still somehow also on the kid on top shoulders, if they were on each other's shoulders.
That's
trying
true.
to figure
2
out how that
kids
would
on
work.
each other's... Yeah, I don't think that would be very effective. That's interesting.
No, that's just a circle. Were they somersaulting through the... Yeah, okay. Trying to steal
Somersault
beer.
through the store real quick, grab a bunch of beer, and somersault out. Like under the counter so the employee can see.
Whoa.
Well, Ben takes this round of What's Happening Next Door 2-1. Thank you both for playing. Ben, you get a picture of Dennis Quaid.
Woohoo! It'll stay in my room where it is. Andrew, sorry, you don't get our rolling award of a signed picture of Dennis Quaid.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I bought it on eBay for $12.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. Auto bid.
Did it come with like a certificate of authenticity?
That's a good point. How do you know?
I'm trying to remember if it did or not. I don't know. I'll go look at it when I'm able to. So thank you, Andrew. I'm sorry you didn't win any of our games. I know sometimes life be like that, but you can get a compensation prize. Consolation prize.
Condensation prize.
Not a condensation prize. You get some due. No, you get a consolation prize of a bag of Skittles that I will give you, but you don't like Skittles, so you can give them to your wife. That will be your prize for being on the show. Thank you so much for being here. Do you have anything you would like to tell the people?
It was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you. This is great. I'll have to listen to it sometime. I probably won't listen to the one I'm on. That seems a little narcissistic. But this was a lot of fun, and God bless.
Yeah. Noah, do you have any outros? What are you doing, Noah?
Nothing. I am looking through my drawer. I have nothing else to say, Andrew. It was really good to talk with you. Thanks for being on the show. And it was great
Thanks,
to
Noah.
be
It was a lot of
surrounded by a Ben on each side, basically.
Yeah. we sound kind of
It was
similar.
good
We
to
look
see you,
kind of
Noah.
Yeah. good to see you
yes.
too.
So thank you, Noah, for being here. Thank you, Andrew, for being here. Thank you, you all, for listening. You all are the true winners, no matter who wins the game, because you all are awesome. We hope you are going to have a fantastic week. And yeah, so we hope to see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye. noodlespodcast.com